People will be curious because, Jimmy, you've already written an autobiography, haven't you?
Yeah.
And now you're saying you missed some stuff out. Right. You weren't entirely candid about parts of your life.
Yeah.
So why didn't you give the full story then? And in many ways, why tell it now? The stuff about you talk about alcohol, drugs particularly.
Yeah.
Well, why come out with the story now?
Well, because I'm going to play for another 3 years or so, maybe 5 max. So I just thought it's time to just get the truth out there, and if I could stop someone having 1 line of cocaine, I've done a good job.
Was that your downfall?
Massive. You know, I was a big drinker. You know, I'm not proud of any of this. I was a big drinker, and you could drink, and if you had cocaine, it would sort of straighten you up again. It was like you just come out, so you could go more and more. You know, I never took cocaine sober, so...
People would be curious about whether... were you taking drugs or drinking when tournaments were on? How did that work? How did you balance those out?
I'd have a few halves of lager, you know, like maybe 2 halves of lager before I played and maybe 1 in the interval, which is not... No one does anything like that now. But the drugs, I'd stopped like 6 days before I was
because you were tested, weren't you?
Because you get drug tested. Plus, I love the game. You know, I always loved the game all the way through that. So I wanted to give myself a chance, but my preparation was 0, really. You know, I didn't give myself... And once again, I say I'm not proud of what I've done, but it's just want to get it out there.
In the book, is that the drug taking and the cocaine and your battle against it and crack cocaine as well. But also in the book are lots of revelations about your friendships with various characters. And one of the ones that really surprised me was when we saw your character. When I grew up with snooker, I kind of had 2 camps. You had you, Alex Higgins, Ronnie Sullivan now, you know, that you'd kind of put in those camps. And then you had Steve Davies, Stephen Hendry, kind of the more well-behaved ones. But you're all really good friends, aren't you?
Well, we worked together, and a funny story the other day, we was doing an exhibition on the Snooker Legends tour, and Steve Davis was pulling away, and he said, "I'll see you next week, mate." And my guy who was driving me said, "You wouldn't have heard that 30 years ago." But we've always had great respect for each other. We was from sort of 2 different worlds. But, you know, great for the game they are, and great lads, you know, they're my pals. And
you devote a lot of time to talking about Alex Higgins, who was a friend and a mentor in terms of the way he played snooker, I think. Would that be right to say?
Absolutely. You know, Alex Higgins was the best shot maker. He was the most exciting player. Then you've got myself come along, Ronnie O'Sullivan and Judd Trump, and we're all about 14 years in between, so it's good to have exciting players. It takes all sorts to make a sport, but Higgins had that flamboyancy, and he was a genius. It was also, you know, he was a bit of a lunatic as well, but I got on very well with him.
Well, and tragically, of course, you know, obviously he died, and it was such an extraordinary way to die. He died of malnutrition, and I know it affected you very deeply, didn't it?
No, it broke my heart, and all his family and close people tried to help him because he beat throat cancer, but he didn't look after himself, he didn't eat. He never ate anyway, you know, if he had... you know, a meal on the Monday, if it was a big meal, we'd be talking about it on a Wednesday. He wasn't an eater, and eventually, in the end, he just like lost touch with everyone, and they found him in his flat. No one knew where he was for 2 weeks, so it was very tragic.